Joined today by a coach who needs no introduction to Penn Staters. Her career, starting as a student athlete and then as an assistant and head coach here at Penn State for women's golf, spanned 6 decades. Starting in 1979 is when she first stepped foot on campus. Denise St. Pierre. Coach, congratulations on your recent retirement, and thanks for the time today.
Thank you, Brian. I'm glad to be here.
When I sum it up that way, does it sink in? Has it sunk in?
It doesn't sink in. It's surreal, somewhat surreal, but you know, they always say time moves really quickly, and you know, it certainly has, but it's been great. It's been a great journey.
When you reflect on the golf program and seeing where that golf program was back in 1979 to where you left it with all the incredible accomplishments, and you went out on top. You won the last tournament you coached in. What's it like to see the progression of that program and the great student athletes that you've had a chance to interact with throughout the course of your career?
It's a real privilege, quite honestly. I mean, you know, to coach at your alma mater, you know, there's nothing like that. And I feel completely blessed to have had the opportunity. And, you know, had it not been for, you know, my first coach, Annette Thompson, who recruited me to come to Penn State and took a chance on me, and then she took another career path 2 years into my time here, and then I met Mary Kennedy, who was my coach for the last 2 years, and then my boss ultimately recruited me to come back and coach with her. You know, when I think of those things and those, you know, how things lined up for me, I mean, that's just feel very fortunate, and that I had that chance to give back and to be part of this great institution.
It's funny, there's been several coaches that have retired here recently, and I was talking to Charmaret Curtis, and she said back, you know, when she was a student athlete, that coaching wasn't thought of as a profession. That wasn't something that you could do. When did you start to consider that I wanted to teach golf, coach golf, and the opportunity that may arise to come back at a place like Penn State?
Well, when I graduated from Penn State, I still was in love with the game and wanted to play and see what would happen. So I went down to Florida, and I was doing a little bit of, you know, just some semi-pro kind of things, and I worked at a facility, Innisbrook Golf Resort, and started getting into my credentials with the PGA. Did that for 2 years, and that's when Mary called and said, I need an assistant. I'm doing both programs. Yep. And I said, I'll do it for a year, you know, because that wasn't really what I was thinking either. I mean, I wasn't going, I want to be a coach. But after doing it, you know, for really just a year, it was like, this is so much fun. 1 year spilled into the next, and certainly coaching has evolved since I started coaching. It's such a different game now in a lot of good ways, right? You want that kind of progress. I'll give you a great example. So I'm a freshman on the team. It's 1979. It's the weekend, and we don't have practice, which, right? Yep. Like, why not, right? It's the weekend. It's a Saturday. My roommate was a golfer. We got our clubs on our back, and we walked from Thompson Hall, which is West Halls, and we walked over to the golf course, which the shop for the white course was underneath the rec hall at that time. And there's a big sign on the door. It says closed. It's Saturday. Closed. Penn State football game. And we were like, what? What do you mean a Penn State football game? So that was my first Saturday here as a student, and I laugh about it still. Like, I'm thinking they actually closed the golf course.
What did you enjoy, and what do you still enjoy most about teaching, coaching the game, and get those interactions that you've had with your student athletes over the years?
You know, there's nothing better as a coach to work with a young player and see them mature in their game and in their life and their day-to-day. And I get to watch them graduate and see where they go after that. You know, it's the best thing ever. That's why I do what I do, and that's why I've done it for so long, because it's because of them.
To be a coach for nearly 40 years, have you thought about the amount of people you've been able to impact, interact with, and hopefully positively shape their lives?
Yeah, I mean, you hope. You know, that's what you hope. And then, you know, sometimes I think the surprising thing is when you don't know what impact you had on someone until they come back around later and go, hey, yeah, well, I remember this or I remember that. And you're like, oh, okay. So those are I think the surprises are also really fun.
Yeah.
Because you weren't, you really weren't sure until later on.
When you came back in 1985 and worked with Mary Kennedy and coaching the men's and women's programs, we always hear student athletes say, I want to leave the program better than when I found it or where I found it. How do you hope that the program is better now than when you first came back as an assistant coach and then as the head coach of the women's program?
I certainly hope that, we've seen so much change that's happened here with our university and with our golf facility. And, right now we're sitting in a building that I never thought was ever going to, happen for us. We would come out to the golf course and just have our clubs in our trunk of our car, if that, or on our backs, because we walked from West Halls all the way out here. So we have this varsity clubhouse has been tremendous. We have areas that are specifically just for our athletes. I mean, those are things that were never part of the program when I started. That's a real accomplishment and something that I'm proud of. I've seen us go from a program that's had very little scholarships to all full scholarships, and players that have been All-Americans, all academic All-Americans. Those are all so much fun to look back on and see and feel good about.
I think you kind of hinted at it in your last answer, but what is next? What does, can I use the word retirement? What does retirement look like?
Well, it doesn't look like sitting on my back porch, in a rocking chair. That's not me at all. I am hoping to still, I'm going to still be involved in teaching and coaching. I still will be out here at the golf course from time to time. I'm, anything I can do for the athletic department as a whole, anything I can do to stay connected to all the people that have supported women's golf and athletics over all these years that I've developed those relationships with. I still want to be part of that, and I still want to hopefully have some hand in helping to keep moving this program forward.
Awesome, Coach. Thanks so much. Congratulations.
Sure. Thank you.